What's going on, all you gamers? Here we are back with some more Outriders, and today is going to be the full build guide for this fella just here who looks like an absolute beast and pretty much plays like it. So if you want to stay tuned and you enjoy explosive builds, then that's coming up next. Welcome back, all you guys and girls. As always, Full Things Gaming, Full Things Xbox, and of course a lot more of the latest and greatest on the way, and a lot more Outriders, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for today, you're here to see what this kind of fella has got in his arsenal as such. What's he using, what mods, and how is his playstyle? Well, what I'm going to do is chuck on a little bit of footage for you, showing you how he actually plays, and then if it's kind of to your suiting, you can stay tuned and the full build guide will be up next. Right, so from that you can see that this is an absolutely kind of crazy build going on, and I'm not going to lie, you can adapt this, you can change quite a few things to your liking. I don't know if it's 100% got best in slot mods at the moment. I feel like there could be a few things you could tweak, but it definitely works. I've done a few runs with it and it's really fun and really different, because the playstyle I'm used to is really in the face, close range, hitting everything with heat waves, and this one is completely different. It's more medium to long range, really fun, a completely different playstyle. Right, so first up, and just not going to mince about it, you need a death shield. Gives you fortress, receive up to 43% damage bonus based on your armour. With that, we've got Shadow Comet. That just means that these two go hand in hand. You'll be hitting really ridiculously hard with your skill moves, and you'll be hitting hard with everything you do because of the 43% extra damage and because of Comet's coming down on the head. Shots cool down a Comet, dealing 210,000 free damage to enemies within a 3.5 meter radius for 3 seconds. Really nice, really fun, and just my go-to if I really can put it into this slot. Now secondary, I've got this on. I haven't used it in the slightest. Chuck on whatever you want if you want to use a secondary. I pretty much am just using this for this build, so honestly you probably won't use your secondary much at all unless you were going to switch between that and maybe a funeral pyre and just do a double comet on their head every once in a while. just down here, and I've got on any revolver with Moaning Winds. With the run, I don't know if you saw, but basically I didn't use Moaning Winds in the slightest. If you want to put it into a rotation, if you want it in this slot just in case you get in trouble, chuck that on. Now here comes the fun part, and this is just so different. It really is, but I love the looks of the character. I really do. I feel like it just looks so good like this. But honestly, like I said, if you want to swap some stuff around, if you want to change things up, you very well could, because there's a few kind of opportunities here, but this does still work and is really fun for the playstyle. So what we've got is Cranium of a Lost Creature, and the main reason I've gone with this, we're going for cooldown. We want to be able to use our moves as much as possible. Now from that footage, I don't know if you saw, that was my first run that I tried with this build, and honestly I probably missed out on more time than I should have, and I'm sure you will clear a lot faster once you get used to it. Also, I haven't got the cooldown all the way because I've run out of shards again, so you will be able to get it even lower than this, meaning you'll be able to do moves very fast. So this one comes with anomaly power, cooldown reduction and skills life leech. Now helping us out with even more anomaly power is our power assimilation, and just hands down an absolutely great mod, especially if you're getting flooded with elite enemies. So boost your anomaly power by 11,061 for each elite present on the battlefield. Obviously in some situations it won't be the best, but nigh on most times, especially in the later levels CT15 and such, you will have at least 2+ elites, meaning you're going to have a lot of power assimilation going on, and your anomaly power will be boosted through the roof. And just under that we've got a tier 3 branded. Thermal Bomb. Enemies afflicted by the skill receive 40% more damage. Basically we're going for 2 thermal bombs. We need that really vitally to take out the bigger enemies and to just nuke the littler enemies or elites on the map. Really fun, really good to use, and it's going to work hand in hand with another mod later on. And next up, and we've got the armour of the Acari. Now this one comes with anomaly power, skills life leech and cooldown reduction. So as you can see, the theme going on is make sure you have pretty much as much anomaly as you can and as much cooldown. We haven't got quite as much anomaly as normal, but the cooldown is definitely there and is really fun in this build. Now what I've chucked on, and remember this is down to your preference, but I found this worked really well in this build, and that's Blacksmith. Overheat. Each status condition consumed by the skill grants 52,659 armour for 8 seconds. We are always going to be pumping out that overheat, we are always going to be making sure stuff's on fire or hit with our kind of thermal bombs which still sets them on fire, meaning you can constantly capture that and you're going to have easily upwards of 150,000 armour, quite a lot more than that in some situations, and you're just going to make sure you capture it as much as possible so that you've got that nice little bit of damage reduction. And just down the bottom, Tidal Wave. Heat Wave. The skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown. Now this is just so that we can get our anomaly power up. We've gone with 2 heat waves. It just means we'll be able to boost our anomaly power up really high, and for the first time I've ever done this, we've actually taken off the burnt out. So like I said, if you want to change things around, go for it. This was working for me, and it's just something I wanted to try because I've always used burnt out in pretty much everything with the Acari set. I wanted to see if I can make something work without it, and this one pretty much does. Next up, and we've got the waistcloth of the Acari. This comes with anomaly, skills life leech and our cooldown reduction again. We get Anomaly Echo, which is just a nice all-round mod. It's not the best unfortunately, but we needed to keep this to be able to get 3 pieces of the Acari, and of course we wanted to change the bottom one. So it gives us 11,484 anomaly power pretty much constantly because it's every 15 seconds on skill activation. We'll be hitting our skills a lot more than that, so basically you might as well say that's constantly a buff. Nice and easy. Probably not the best mod in the game, but it is a buff to our anomaly power and still works hand in hand really well with this build. And just down the bottom, Detonator. Overheat decreases the skill's cooldown by 50%. Nice and easy, you want that. You can either mark things and get a bit of extra damage on them and then set off your thermal bombs, or you can hit it afterwards to set off your thermal bombs or capture things in your heat waves, set it off. This will be doing a lot of our damage and it's really fun, and of course it's a stun move. Really nice, really easy to use, and we'll be using this constantly in this build. And just over here, and grab yourself any gloves with anomaly power and cooldown reduction. If you can get status power like we've got here, that will also help out massively, either that or skills life leech. Either or and you're good to go as long as you've got that cooldown reduction. Now this one comes with Fire Frenzy, which is thermal bomb. The skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown. No need to tell you why you want that because you want to be able to set off as many thermal bombs as possible, and so that you can kind of apply it to the same target twice to get that 80% extra damage if you so desire. And just down the bottom, Bullet Kindling, deals 20% more damage against enemies afflicted by burn. Really nice and obvious, tell you why to put this on. 20% extra damage pretty much at all times. You'll be capturing it in your overheat, you'll be hitting them with your heat waves. It's just a really nice easy mod to use, and it works well in pretty much nigh on most pyro builds. Now last but definitely not least is this one right here, the Boots of the Acari, which basically means you've now got that 3-piece bonus. Every enemy damaged by heat wave grants 50% anomaly power bonus for 10 seconds. Really nice, really easy to use, and it basically means you're going to be hitting your heat waves on people and trying to boost your anomaly power through the roof. I'd say it probably go up over 500k in this build a lot of the times, as long as there's elites and such on the battlefield. Really nice, and you can do some significant chunks of change of damage. Now the mods on it, double fun. Thermal bomb, the skill can affect 2 targets. This just means you can have 4 going off at the same time. Really good, lots of explosion, lots of air effect, lots of enemies popping, and a lot of fun. Just down the bottom we've got Hellfire. Heatwave, if the skill damages 3 enemies, all subsequent enemies will receive additional 37,411 damage. Honestly, that doesn't do us any massive favours, but it does still chunk out a bit of change when they're coming towards you and you're trying to boost your anomaly power by hitting them with those 2 heat waves. Now obviously, because we're using the Boots of the Acari, we've got a little bit of extra health, we've got skills life leech, and we're using these mainly just because I wanted a cooldown build and I found this really fun. If we could have that anomaly at the top, that would be much better, but I just wanted to try a cooldown build with this, and this still worked well, so we chucked it on and it completed that 3-piece. Now like I said, if you wanted to adapt some of these and change it to your own playstyle, you very well could. For example, if you wanted to swap one out and chuck in something such as a twice as hot, that could work absolutely amazing in this build. It really could. I didn't get the drop for it, so I couldn't really try it, but I feel like that could quite easily replace something and be a lot of fun and do a lot of extra damage. But even so, just like this, you're still able to clear CT15s to gold. You've just got to be a little bit more careful and play a little bit further back, probably more so than you're actually used to, and in a pyromancer build. Right, so going over the skills, and we've got Heatwave. Now, as you can tell, we didn't actually have the thing that extends the width of the heatwave, so you're playing a little bit different to how you would with an acari set usually, but the only reason you're using your heatwaves is mainly to boost the anomaly power. Boost the anomaly power, then go on to your overheats if you want to pop them, or apply your thermal bombs and pop them that way. Remember, every time you're applying your thermal bombs, they're going to take extra damage from your heat waves and from your overheats. Really nice, works really well, and like I said, play this much further back than you're used to with a normal Acari build. It's going to very much be a medium to slightly further back build, but the playstyle is quite different and quite fun compared to how you'll be playing. It'll be a bit of a mix up, I'd imagine. Nice and easy, and all 3 of these work really well, especially in conjunction to comets coming down on people's heads. Now next up, and like I said, this one's an explosive skill tree, so you will need to be a little bit careful. If you've been playing my other builds and you've been going that middle tree, you're used to being able to face tank everything. You do not want to be getting in amongst 10 or 20 enemies, you're just going to pop. Just make sure you're further back, try to apply the heat waves, then roll back and do what you've got to do and set everything off. And then set everything off and kind of have a lot of fun with your thermal bombs. So just here we've got increase your anomaly power by 6%. Just down here, and we've got World Ablaze, reduce your cooldown on your explosive skills by 15%. Like I said, you're trying to get your cooldowns as good as possible, and if I just go back to here, like I said, if you look at those, 7.4, 4.3 and 5.6, and I have not maxed out my cooldowns. I would imagine that overheat will go down to about 4 or even under. This one right here will probably be about 5 seconds or under, and this one will probably be about 6.8. Give or take, these will be able to be applied constantly and will be so much fun. So just up here we've got Mark's Culmination. Increase your skill damage by 8% against marked enemies. This is really nice if you've hit them with your kind of heat waves, if you've slammed them, if you've hit them with your fist, if you've used your overheat. This marks your enemies, especially the overheat. It marks everything pretty much on the map, and then if you want to launch your thermal bombs, say 2 seconds after that, you'll still be able to use your kind of overheat to proc that explosion, meaning you'll have a lot of fun. Works really well as long as you've got enough anomaly power generated from your kind of heat waves. Just down here, increase your anomaly power by 6%. Just up here, weapon damage and anomaly power. Going up to the wildfire, decrease all your skill cooldowns by 10%. Just a great one to have in any build, especially this one, because we're going for that cooldown. Just over here, again, more Mark's Culmination, meaning that you've got another 8% against marked enemies. Just over here, an extra 6% on top of your anomaly power. And up here, we've got Extinction. Increase your damage by 20% against enemies below 30% of health. Whenever you can pick this up, go for it, it works in your favour. Just down here, and we've got Gifted. Increase weapon damage and anomaly power by 5%. Just over here, increase your anomaly power by 6%. And of course with this one, activating explosive skills increases your anomaly power by 12% for 10 seconds. Basically meaning we are going to have that up almost nigh on all the time, because we're going to be able to use our explosive skills pretty much every 4 or 5 seconds. This will be a constant, you're just going to get buff from it. Really nice one to pick up with this build. Next up, and you want a bit of viability of staying alive and just not completely falling over, I always try and put at least one resistance in my build, especially with this, because we don't really have any pure defensive mods except for the one where we're capturing all of our stuff with overheat. So we're boosting our armor, but we're lacking in resistance. Make sure you pick this up, otherwise you're going to fall over. Next up, increase your anomaly power by 6%. Just down here, and it is completely up to you. I always pick this up. There's just crazy one-shots that happen every once in a while, even though they shouldn't, and just any time you pick an explosive build, there is that chance that you could randomly fall over. Phoenix Nestling gives you that survivability, means if you do, you've got one more chance. It's like an extra life. Pick it up. Just over here, a little bit of resistance piercing, nice in any build with your skills. Chuck that on and it gets us to the end. Just over here, increase damage against elites by 10%. No need to tell you why that's good. Damage against elites is always pretty much a must if you can grab it. Here we've got an extra 8% against marked enemies. Just down here we've got more cooldown on our explosives, which means that we've got really low cooldown that you've already seen on the previous screen, where you can get it pretty much to 4 seconds or so with some of the moves. Really nice. If you like using skill moves, this will be such a fun build to play. And last but definitely not least, increase explosive skills base damage by 30%. This obviously boosts us because we've lost a little bit of anomaly on the boots, but now we've got a heck of a lot of damage in our skills, meaning we're going to absolutely destroy things and have a lot of fun in the process, playing that mid to longer range and trying to make everything kind of explode. Right, well you guys and girls, as always, I hope that's helped a few of you out. I hope you have a lot of fun with this build. It's very different to what I'm used to playing. I'm so used to playing that middle tree now that this one, it was a little bit on the odd side, but I had a lot of fun, and it's definitely a really nice build to play. You've just got to get used to the playstyle and play a little bit more cautiously, because like I said, you don't have that health regen going on anywhere near as much as that middle tree. But as always guys and girls, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.